Hi, everyone. Welcome to Uprise Astrology Podcast. My name is Islan. I am an astrologer and tarot card reader, and we're here today to take a look at the upcoming astrological influences for Scorpio Sun and Scorpio Rising. And also, we're going to be wrapping this reading up with a tarot reading. Now, the time frame that I'm going to be taking a look at everything is going to be between the new moon in Scorpio that we just started all the way up until the 19th of November, right before that full moon in Taurus. So that's what we're going to be covering for this reading today. Before I get started, I just want to mention that if you know that you're a Scorpio rising, this is going to be helpful for you because you will be able to get the most accurate sort of picture of what is unfolding for your personal chart. It is a general reading, so sometimes these types of readings can be a little bit more vague if you're just listening to your sun sign. So if you know that you're a rising Scorpio, definitely listen to this video. Now, sometimes it's also helpful to just take a look at the tarot card reading, right? If you're a sun sign Scorpio, you will also get something out of this, but it's very worth mentioning that this is going to be the most accurate way for you to forecast what's happening in the next 2 weeks for you, okay? So what we're going to take a look at is I'm going to pull up the chart for you guys so that you can see where the energies are unfolding for you. If you are listening to this on the podcast episode, the podcast version episode, I will be mentioning where the energies are unfolding for you in the houses, okay? So let's dive right in. The new moon in Scorpio is unfolding for, obviously, in the first house for you guys. That's where this new moon is starting. What's the first house? The first house is any way in which you portray yourself. It is the house of identity. It is the house in which, you basically start your journey. And this is a house where you put together the way in which you express yourself to the world. And it's deeper than that this time, because that new moon in Scorpio is going to be at 12 degrees, where you are literally starting a new version of who you are and how you are going to portray yourself out to the world. A lot of you, I feel like, have been working towards something for quite some time. And now you finally almost get like this opportunity, the keys to this new version of yourself. And it feels exciting. It feels independent. It feels like there is a new story that's unfolding for you guys. But at the same time, I think that you are also going to be learning deep truths about your own intentions and what your essential needs are in order for you to feel stable as you move forward. Now, why do I say stable? Because there is going to be an opposition with this new moon that is going to be for you in the seventh house. The seventh house for you is all of the bonds that you have to the most important relationships in your life. It can also be bonds that you have to relationships that bond you in a legal kind of a way. Legal kind of, what I say is, what I mean by that is business partnerships or people that you have some kind of contractual agreement to. And Uranus has been here in this house for you guys. So it's forming an opposition to the first house. So here, what you're realizing is as you come into this month and everything you're going to be working on over the next 30 days will really redefine your relationship aspects. There is some unpredictable stuff that is going to be coming up here in relationship dynamics where you have to change the story. You have to change the way in which you are viewing your relationships, or your relationships actually give you the content in a way for you to change this new story and make the relationships better. Something about that is going to be coming up, and it's a growth period where I think you're going to be respecting this new version of yourself. And perhaps some relationships here have to follow along in a way, or you have to make compromises in a way, or there is sort of the downside to this transit can be that sometimes there could be a trickery involved, and you're discovering this now, okay, that something surfaces all throughout the next 30 days where you're really seeing that you are dealing with something that is going up against your own boundaries or the line that you're drawing, and then you're going to declare to do things different. And you're going to cut certain things out. And the reason why I say cut out is because you're releasing something about yourself here in the first house with the Scorpionic energy. We have Mars here as well, and then Mercury is going to join the party, that you are going to be in this place where you're going to choose yourself over situations that are not worth it. They're just not going to be worth it at this time anymore. And I think that change is going to be welcomed for majority of you. Now, if we move on to the next date, that is going to be when now Mercury joins the party, and then Mercury is going to be coming together on the 10th with Mars. They're going to conjoin. They're going to form a conjunction at 7 degrees. This is going to be still happening for a lot of you in the first house. These are the themes of who you are to self and how you portray yourself to the world. It can also have to do with your body. It can have to do with your health as well. Okay, it doesn't have to be, but oftentimes it can also have to be with the physical body and the health. Now, it is going to form a square to Saturn, where is Saturn in the 4th house for you? And it is also at 7 degrees, but Saturn is in Aquarius. Let's go back to the 1st house. What is happening in the 1st house with Mars and Mercury? This is themes of sharp communication, being very direct, having a goal in mind that has a lot to do with you speaking your truth. So there's a part of you that's trying to release and really come into this new image that you've been working towards. And then there's this square to Saturn that brings up a situation that cannot be avoided anymore. Brings up a situation where the energy field can feel like this is really burdensome. Like, I don't want to deal with this. But at the same time, it is an invitation to work out something in the 4th house. And what is that? The 4th house is the house of emotional comfort. You may have to reorganize what you're emotionally comfortable with. You may also have to reorganize something due to now realizing that there is maybe family dynamics or maybe emotional comfort zones that used to be part of you, but now you're realizing you're going to have to change this. And there is a determining of that is starting to unfold here, where you're going to be bringing in energies that will feel more supportive to this new part of your life that's beginning. And there might be a hard stop here. You might have to put down boundaries with people so that they don't really impact you in a way where emotionally you feel like that's not your vibe anymore, right? And you have to protect yourself from the situation. That is not something that you can allow in your space anymore. It's going to be really, for a lot of your Scorpio risings, it's going to be that kind of an energy. Now, watch out for that space, okay, for the next 24 to 48 hours from November 10th on. Now, when we move on to the next transit, this is going to be a beautiful release after much tension on the 12th. What are we seeing here? Well, we now have the sun has moved on into the 3rd decan, which is 20 and up. Sun is in Scorpio at 20 degrees. You now are moving forward with the future. There's something that is releasing. And what is that? It's the 5th house stuff, something you've been longing for in your heart. The 5th house is your heart. The 5th house is your purpose. It can also have to do with your children. It can also have to do with your romance life. But generally speaking, it's all the things that bring us joy. And what's happening here? The sun is trining Neptune at 20 degrees in Pisces. So this is sort of a time where you're going to feel like, okay, things are coming together. There is a new meaning that is shaping to what I feel purposeful in, or what I'm executing every day that is very close to my heart. But it feels much deeper than that, because you are connecting sort of to the cosmos, to God consciousness, to whatever you define as your own divinity. And your heart is getting this huge validation and this discovery that for the first time, there is something you've overcome, that you wanted to maybe show and portray a part about you, that now you're going to be able to do this. You're overcoming this. There is a sense that starts to overcome you and your life and the potential of what the possibilities are for the future, the potential of those, right? It's starting to expand here. But at the same time, you're realizing that the only reason why it is expanding is because the couple of days before, you had to put in these boundaries and you had to release this kind of an energy that was sort of pent up, that had a lot to do with the comfort zones that you were operating from. So here is a new renewed sense of devotion when it comes to your heart, when it comes to what really means the world to you. So I think throughout the day, and then also the rest of the month, you're going to be able to tap into a new devotion here as well, that is going to be much welcomed. It's sort of like the universe is stepping in and just showing you, it's time now to see that you have been working towards this, and the reality of that is going to be changing at this time. So that's what I'm seeing here, that is going to happen between November 4th, the time of the new moon, until the day before the full moon, which is going to be on the 20th. Okay, so let's clear this space, and we're going to be moving forward by taking a look at the cards. So I have already pulled the cards. Again, if you're on the podcast episode, you will not be able to see the cards, but I will be telling you what cards I'm talking about and what the card placement and the meaning of that is, or what I drew the card for. So let me just share my screen for everyone who is in the video version. So here are all the 7 cards that I drew. The very first card is the general theme that we're taking a look at. That is the general theme all throughout the next 2 weeks, but also just in general for the month, right? So the 7 of Wands. There is a letting go aspect that is unfolding for a lot of you. And it has to do with just living out a story that maybe you learned a lot from, but wasn't your most preferred. That is the best way that I can put this. And I am going to clarify this card even more. Why are you in this space now, right? What's the purpose of this? Where is it all leading? Because that 7 of Wands is still a card that can represent a little bit of an inner turmoil or a struggle, but you're ready. You're ready to take it on. You're ready to move on from this, right? And so here with the clarification card, which the cards that I'm using is the cards of truth system, it's because you now know what it is that you want to pursue. You really know what it is that you want to pursue. You have clarity around it. And so the themes this month are going to support this clarity around it. But yet there is still one aspect of your life that you may not know how to work out. And the High Priestess basically is the card right next to it that says the emotional theme of this month is that you're going to have this storyline that's unfolding about anything that's still outstanding in your life that you don't know what to do or how to go about it, by you just listening every day to your intuition. Not that you don't do that already, but you're really going to dive into this aspect. Okay. Now, the next card after that is the Hanged Man. We see already 2 major arcanas here. The Hanged Man basically says, don't do anything yet. The actions will present in form of speech, but also in form of you having to wait until after the full moon in order for you to start making some move towards changes or anything that you need to negotiate. Because what is being supported is the Knight of Swords. That's the next card. The universe and the energies are supporting right now for you to let things unfold, and they're going to unfold quicker. Some particular situation that you're waiting to see what you need to do about it, that Knight of Swords basically says this thing is going to unfold much quicker than what you realize. And that is the energy that's on your side. The Hanged Man with the Knight of Swords together coupled basically says there's nothing to do other than to watch for what is going to happen, because there is a quick and swift change in a particular situation that you have maybe been wondering how it's going to go, but it's unfolding on its own. So allow for that space to happen. Now, the growth aspect of this month, we see the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is basically a card that says you may have to sort of travel back to a particular issue amongst a small group of people, or someone that is a part of a group of people, maybe a larger group, but then there is a particular 3-4 people type of situation where you need to go back into, and you have to sort of listen again to what the issues are, because somehow this issue is impacting you. It's impacting either your business or the work environment. For a lot of you, it's going to be in work, or it is going to be just a feeling that you have behind how things are. And you are going to get the opportunity to speak about it, but it's not quite the time yet. You just need to be able to absorb the information. And that is the growth aspect of this month. Now, what are the emotional themes and the emotional currencies in relationships? That is the 2 of Wands. A lot of negotiation. It's necessary this month for a lot of you. You have to put down boundaries within your relationships. you have to connect to what it is that you need. And at the same time, I feel like a lot of you are going to be in a space where you're going to ask for that. You're going to ask for them to support you. And a lot of the themes are going to be support. A lot of the themes are going to be, I need to be able to do this for myself type of conversation. Okay. Now, how is the month kind of going as far as like what the biggest focus is? What should you be focusing on? That's the world. Straight up, the world card in my readings have to do with Saturnian energy. What is that about? It is about creating a space of boundaries, because if you don't have a space of boundaries, you can't create from here. You can't overcome from here. You cannot do something that is important to you, that has value, that feels purposeful, that feels like it is you from head to toe, and it feels like this is your inspiration that you're following. If it's not protected, it's not going to happen. And that is the biggest epiphany this month, that you need to put in more protection to what it is that you're doing. You need to sort of put down boundaries and say, this is where I will not cross the line. And this is where others will not cross the line, whatever that looks like for you. Okay. That's what I'm seeing here. And that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, hit the notification so that we are connected. I would love to know how this month is unfolding for you guys. And I will see you back here in the next episode. Bye.